Sampayaya Vitmahe Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guru Prachodayate. Om Yoga Maharishi Dr. Swami Geetananda Giri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. All right. So we are here today to talk about yogic diet. The yogic diet, it's a very good, it adds to our spiritual and physical practice of yoga practice. It's part of our yoga sadhana, our yoga practice, the physical, the emotional, and the mental. I think now it's supported by science as well, that the food affects the emotions as well. The food and affects the emotions and the mind. And in Ayurveda, it was said thousands of years ago that there are tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic food, and the tamasic food is making the mind dull, low. The rajasic is hyperactive, it's making the mind hyperactive, and the sattvic brings a balance to the mind and the emotions. So for Ayurveda and yoga, food and emotions and mind is not new, but we bring it back now. And I studied yoga and I experiment a lot with food, and I still study Ayurveda and Ayurvedic nutrition. And I can see how much we can do through food, choosing the right food for our physical body, but also the mind and the emotions, and even further to affect the spirit. I'll just tell you one small example. For example, bitter food is helping the udana, and it's helping the upward energy, the bitter food. So if we feel that the energy is always pushed down towards survival, by choosing eating, by adding some bitter foods into our diet, we can help lift the energy high up towards the brain, which is the goal of Kriya Yoga and Kundalini Yoga. That's a small example. Like you can have bitter herbs like rosemary. You can have bitter greens. Almost all greens are bitter, almost. Spinach, it's salty and bitter. So there are generally the green vegetables have the bitter taste a lot. And many herbs have the bitter taste. So you can choose adding your bitter food in order to lift the energy up. On the other side, if you feel that you need grounding, sweet food, it's grounding the energy. So you can see just by choosing different tastes of food, you can make a difference not only to the mind and the emotions, but also the spiritual levels. If you feel that you are lacking something in order to reach higher levels. I will share my screen now, unless you want, you have something to say, and I will just describe what we will do and say right now. Anyone wants to say something? We have a baby with us. Hello. That's very sweet. Okay. Anyone wants to say why you joined this class, this lecture? If you expect something, just in case I go completely out of your expectations. Anyone wants to talk and say, at least one person to say, what do you expect? If you want. Switch on your microphone.
Yeah, I can just say I've never considered food as part of my yoga journey at all. So I come with a very open mind and heart to what you're going to share with us. So no expectations specifically, other than really interested to understand the connections between yoga and food as well.
Perfect, lovely. Anyone else? Lisa, yes.
Oh yeah, well, it's something I'm really interested in, and I've had a lot of sort of experience of experimenting myself to see how different foods affect me, and I'm still very much on that journey. So any tips, anything I can pick up that's gonna help me, yeah, that would be amazing.
Perfect, yes. Okay. Are you yoga teachers? Are some of you yoga teachers? You did the training?
Yeah, with Anandi and Deepika, yeah.
Anandi and Deepika, yes, great, good, lovely. Okay, let me connect my microphone again. In training, yes, okay, yeah, great. The chat is a good idea. If I don't see you and you really want to say something, just write on the chat, and I will definitely see that while I'm sharing the screen. So now we'll share the screen with you. Yes, yeah, I want to share my screen. Can I? Yes, I can share. Okay. Okay, just a minute. Give me a moment. Yogic Diet presentation. All right, so yeah, I can see Deepika Nyandev, Susan, and Lisa. Okay, so you are now in charge of what is happening if I need to say something or if I have a question. So Yogic Diet, and we will talk about 3 keywords, so we will understand the Yogic Diets first of all. 3 keywords: prana, ahimsa, and rasayana. These are the 3 words that Yogic Diet it's about. Okay, first of all, prana. In Yogic Diet, in order to connect our spiritual, mental, emotional life with our diet, we need to eat food that doesn't take energy while digested, because the energy that is used for digestion is the same energy that the immune system is using to fight illnesses, is the same energy that the mind is using to think and to produce thoughts and inspirations, and the same energy that we need to save, to lift up for our spiritual development. So if the food we eat doesn't have prana, and on top of that is so heavy and difficult to digest that it needs extra prana to be digested, it means that we don't have, we waste all our prana eating. We waste all our prana just for food. And this is not working in the same way that is not working if you take your salary at the end of the month and you spend all your money in clothes. You can give some money to buy some clothes, but if you do only that, then there will not be any money left for anything else. And believe it or not, the modern way of eating, especially those who eat meat or heavy foods, believe it or not, there are people in this planet that spend all their prana eating, all their prana just to digest what they ate. And this is a shame. Prana is coming non-stop. The source of prana, it's infinite. We never stops. But still, if we never stop wasting it, again, we don't have enough prana to wake up the brain, to wake up the parts of the brain that are not active because there is not enough energy. So that's why we connect yogic diet with pranic food, with food full of prana. And we will talk about it just after this slide. So we keep this just to understand that we need food that is full of prana, and that it doesn't need any prana. Too much is not difficult to digest, because digestion wastes prana as well. Ahimsa, the second key word, it's ahimsa. Of course, we know non-harm. Ahimsa, non-harm. It's very important, the food we eat, not to harm the earth, other human beings, and animals as much as possible. We don't want to go to extreme, but ahimsa food, it's an important part of our sadhana, our spiritual practice. Because if the food we choose is harms the planet, the other human beings, or the animals, that means this karma is coming towards us. And remember, the law of karma is not affected by ignorance. Like, if you don't know, you are building karma. Karma is still built. It's not something that, oh, I didn't know, then I don't take the karma. Even if we don't know, karma is the law of action, reaction, not action with purpose or not. There is no exception on that. Ignorance is not an excuse in the law of karma. That means that we really, really have to be a little bit more conscious with our food. And I'm not talking about the animal cruelty. This is one thing. And there are many debates about that. We are talking about human cruelty as well, and environmental cruelty. So this is not something that right now we have time to talk about. It's something you do your own experiments and your own explorations, and find out, is my food harming any other creature or the earth? Then can I change it? Just like that. Again, no extremes, no need for extremes. Just a little bit of more conscious decisions about the food in order to follow ahimsa. Anyone wants to say something before I continue? No, I found a way to just check everyone, so that's all right. And then rasayana. Rasayana means nutritious food, nutrition, rich nutrition. Okay, we use this term to describe food or herbs that nourish the body, nourish the mind and the emotions, nourish the whole system. Rasayana food is usually very nutritious, rich, like the superfoods. It's the superfoods actually, and it's building energy. It's building the tissues of the system, of the body. These three are the key words, in my opinion. It's not like, maybe there are more, but I find that these three words our yogic diet should follow, should explore, in order to start really, really use food as an addition to our yogic sadhana, our yogic practice. All right? And we will move a little bit further right now. Activated food. Now, after all these explorations I did, I created a system that I call it activated vegan food seminars, or activated food, It's mainly vegan, but it's not necessary to be always vegan. It's mainly vegan because it's difficult to find animal products that animal byproducts that are activated, are full of life. But don't worry about it too much. It's not like the activated food is there to use it when you can. The activated vegan food system is there to use it when you can, and is there to make you feel the difference. And when you feel the difference, then it doesn't matter if one day you don't have activated food, or you will feel the difference, and then the body will adjust to the activated food and to the new habits of the activated food. No need for you to feel guilty or to try hard to eat only activated food. So I warn you, because then now I will say all the activated foods and the non-activated foods. And I don't want you to worry that, oh, I didn't eat that, I don't eat that, I eat this, and worry about that. Because the beauty of the activated food is it works when you do it, and it doesn't work when you don't do it. But then when you do it, it works again. So no reason to worry every time. Let's say you have a hard day. I remember one day I was I came to UK, and I was traveling all night, and then I had 2 days in UK. I went for work, had 2 days, 2 hard days, performing a performance actually, and then I had to go back to Cyprus. I had to come back to Cyprus. So I didn't have any space to lose energy without reason. So what I did, I said I will eat only raw food, only raw salads and fruit, because I didn't want to waste energy digesting my food. I needed this energy to go on with the performances and all the work I had to do and the traveling. And it worked very well. So this is what I suggest. I suggest if you have a hard day, remember not to eat food that will take energy instead of giving you. Because calories is one thing, prana is another thing. Something that has a lot of calories doesn't mean it has a lot of prana, and the opposite, and reverse. Uh, it's two different things. So you have to really start exploring the activated food and experiment with the activated food, and you will see that when you need energy, you can follow the activated food system. And when you are invited somewhere, or you just want to eat something else that is not activated, just do it without feeling guilty. Remember, it works when you do it, and it doesn't work when you don't do it. So these activated vegan seminars, there is online seminars that are available. And we have a Facebook group as well, which has the same name, so SKB Activated Vegan Seminars. If you want to join us and keep in touch with us, you can just make a request at our private group. It's a private group, and we will keep in touch in this way. Now, what is activated food? 1, 2, 3, 4 things about what is activated food. Food which gives more vitality, prana, than it takes. Okay? This is the main thing, that takes more vitality than it gives more vitality than it takes. And we will say how. Sustainable food. So when I talk about ahimsa, for me personally, I mean sustainable food. I don't mean cruelty free from animals and anything like that, although I really love animals a lot and I am vegan, but I don't feel that veganism is for everyone. And I would suggest and advise everyone to just try for sustainable food first, and then for vegan, cruelty free food, because the sustainable is more important. If you are vegan and you are buying quinoa from Peru, and you need an aeroplane to bring the food to your country, and there are many non-sustainable vegan foods. So I think the goal should be to have sustainable food, and then the cruelty-free will come automatically. Plant-based for the same reason, to be sustainable, because if it's not plant-based, that means that the food that we would have is going to the animals. We can't afford that anymore. So again, for ahimsa reasons, plant-based will be great if we can have plant-based food. But I use the plant-based term and not the vegan, because plant-based means based on plants most of the time. Okay? So if you go somewhere, or if you really need to eat yogurt or to eat eggs, of course you will. It will be based on plants. Your diet will be based on plants, but you don't need to be too fanatic about it. Okay? And 3 qualities, and these are the 3 qualities that give all the above we said. The food to be alive, easily digested, and tuned. Okay? And I will explain what I mean. These are the 3 preconditions, qualities, I would say, 3 qualities of the activated food. It's alive, it's easily digested, and it's tuned. Hello. Beautiful. Okay. So, alive food. And I don't know, is Lisa who said it or Susan? I don't remember. But we said about, we talk about tips, hacks, what to do to eat better. And this is what we will do now. The 3 qualities: alive, easily digested, and tuned. We will say 3 tips for each quality. 3 tips. And I think by then our time will finish. Maybe we can have some questions, and then we'll move on to the next session. Yes, these are 3 qualities that I chose 3 tips that I chose to talk about in order to have alive food. So alive food means that is non-processed non-processed, is not processed in any way that kills the vitality of the food. Okay? In this category is the tin food, for example. The tin food has no prana. Okay? That means it will take prana from the system to be digested. Pre-cooked food or leftovers, it has no prana. No matter how unpractical this is, unfortunately, if we cook a food and then if we cook our food and then we eat it the next day, unfortunately, the prana is gone. That means we will need extra prana to get extra prana to digest the food. Okay. So alive food is food in its natural form, so that it will keep its prana. And a way to eat alive food is to soak the seeds, the nuts, the grains, the legumes, the pulses that before you eat them or before you cook them. Okay, soaking. To soak them in water, because a seed, let's say wheat berries, wheat seed, or sunflower seed, or nuts, any nuts that are not roasted, raw nuts, they have potential life inside them. They have potential life. That is sleeping. The moment you put a whole seed in water, it wakes up and it brings out its life, its potential to grow. So soaking is an excellent way to wake up the food and bring the prana of the food. But remember, soaking is working only the full seeds, the whole whole seeds and not pre-cooked, no non-roasted or oven baked or whatever seeds we have. For example, I'll say just a quick example. In the buckwheat, most of the buckwheat that is sold, it's roasted, because then you can keep it away from bugs, from worms and bugs. So you have to really search for non-roasted buckwheat and then soak it to wake up. I've just said, and the same with oat, I think. Although oat berries, oat seeds, not the flakes. The flakes are already no prana, because um, they are cut and they were processed in such a way that they lose their prana. So the oat flakes, it's not alive. The oat seed is alive most of the time, but you have to ask for raw oat, unroasted. And then you put it in water and you make beautiful porridge, actually, with soaked oat. Then you put it in blender and you make an amazing porridge, but full of prana. And try oat flakes porridge, and then try whole oat porridge soaked in water for 6 hours, and see the difference, feel the difference. The other very, 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 very interesting tip is to sprout. Sprouting, I will show you a picture of that here. This is our sprouted chickpeas. So you put any legume, any pulse, any grain, whole grain, any seed in water for 6 to 8 hours, and then you drain it and you put a wet cloth on top until it sprouts. This sprouting is enough, it doesn't need to sprout more. That means that the food, the seed, brought out all the life potential that could have. And the nutrients are there are more nutrients, more energy, amazing food. The sprouted seeds, legumes, grains, it's good if you cook them after, especially if you are pregnant, because there are some problems if, of course, not in UK, in warm countries, some bacteria might grow. I never had this problem. I eat raw sprouts almost every day. Not pulse sprouts, but any other kind of sprouts. I eat them raw. I never had a problem. But I have to warn you that there is one case in 100 cases to increase the sprouts to increase some bacteria that might not be good. Avoid it if you can, but especially pulses, better to cook them after. It's easier to digest anyway. But you will cook a fully pranic food. Okay, so that's about sprouting and soaking. In our Activated Vegan Food YouTube channel, there is a video you can go and search that has a video how to sprout. You can check it if you want, how to sprout your food, or you just Google sprouting and you will find many resources on that. Freshly cooked food. So leftovers, unfortunately, it's not practical at all, I know, but unfortunately do not have prana. No prana at all, because the heat killed the food, and not killed, the heat gave energy to the food, the heat of cooking gave energy to the food, and made the food inactive, but the heat has its own energy. Okay, so you heat the food, the digestive enzymes of the food are dying, but the heat keeps the food alive. 4 hours after, unfortunately, when the food is cold, the food doesn't have energy. If you cannot keep the food, if you cannot eat the food 4 hours after you cook it, let's say that don't let it the next day. The moment the next day comes, then the food has no prana. But remember what we said at the beginning, that if practically this doesn't work most of the time for you, then do it when you can. Now you have this information, so try, and do eat freshly cooked food when you can. If before you never ate freshly cooked food and now you eat twice a month freshly cooked food, it's something. Okay? So don't worry too much about following all the rules. Homemade plant-based dairy. The reason dairy, I'm sorry, I cannot see what I wrote here. Is it dairy? Just a minute. Okay, just a minute because something is coming out. Okay, I will keep talking. I hope you listen, you hear me, because I lost the screen. Yeah, I found it again. So, homemade plant-based milk or dairy. Milk, okay, it's milk. Homemade plant-based milk, because the reason I put it in one of the 3 tips of the alive food is that, unfortunately, due to you understand the word? It's Greek word, pasteuriosi, it's in Greek, but I can't say it in English. It is this pasteurized dairy. Unfortunately, to pasteurize the dairy means you shake it into very, very high temperatures, extremely high temperatures and extremely violent shaking in order to become one, not to have pieces, little pieces, and to kill the bacteria. But unfortunately, by killing the bacteria, we kill the prana as well. So, and I cannot tell you don't pasteurize the dairy, because then we have other problems. The bacteria, the antibiotics and the illnesses that the animal has goes to your body. So I cannot tell you don't pasteurize the dairy. I cannot tell you drink pasteurized, because pasteurized dairy is not alive, it's dead. Unpasteurized is dangerous. So the only way is to make your own plant-based milk. And again, there is a recipe in our YouTube channel, Activated Vegan Food Seminars, Solar Kitchen Bar Activated Solar Kitchen Bar Activated Vegan Food, where you can see how to make nutritious and healthy plant-based milk. You can make it from nuts and grains. And if you combine nut and grain and you just put it in blender, you blend it until it becomes very thick liquid, and then you use a cheesecloth to drain it, you have an amazing plant-based milk that is nutritious. Especially if you combine nut with grain, it's very good. And if you add also sesame seeds, any seed, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, experiment with nuts, seeds, and grains combinations, and you will see that you can have an amazing plant-based milk that is nutritious. Because these almond milks and the oat milks that they sell, first are pasteurized, and second have no nutrients. I don't know, they have more artificial stuff than real food, real seeds and nuts, and they have no nutrient. They have only artificial nutrients. They add vitamins, artificial vitamins inside to make them nutritious, but this is not a solution. And in the video that you might see on YouTube, you will see that you need less than 5 minutes. I think it was 4 minutes and 40 seconds. You make plant-based milk in 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and you wash the container as well, the blender container, in these 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of organizing and soak your nuts and grains the day before. And then you wake up, you have 5 minutes, you make it, you're done for the day. And you have nutritious, alive milk for you and your family. Because especially for kids, it's such a shame to drink plant-based milk from boxes that have no nutrients, or to have pasteurized milk full of hormones. And then we wonder why children have hormonal problems these days. I have to say that yogurt, when has the alive cultures, it's good. It's very good. So if you have local yogurt that is milk yogurt, normal milk yogurt that has alive cultures inside, is processed through alive cultures, please use it. It's very good and it's alive, and also the hormonal side effects that you might have are much less with the yogurt, because the cultivation milk to yogurt, it changes also the effect of the hormones that are in the milk. So alive yogurt is good if you're not vegan. It's great. So this is alive food, fresh cooked food. That's just an example. Freshly roasted carrots, sweet potatoes, peppers, potatoes. This is a nice tip. If you don't have time, you just cut your vegetables in slides and you put them in the sandwich toaster. And you have vegetables in a few minutes. If you cut them like that, the potatoes are like chips. And you add the oil after. Just put them without oil in the grill toaster, the sandwich toaster, the grill toaster, and then just bring them out and add oil, your local oil, on top. And all these vegetables that you see here are in the toaster, all in the grill toaster. And then I boiled some rice with beans, with green beans. And it's amazing food, made in very little. This is tahini sauce. Not necessary, actually, this is enough nutrition, but I just wanted to have tahini as well. So this is a very nice idea. If you want to have fresh vegetables, just cut them in slides and put them in the grill toaster. These are sprouted wheat. You see the little sprout? It doesn't need to sprout more, because then all the nutrients will go to the plant. This level of sprouting is good enough. This is a very nice breakfast with sprouted wheat. You can use any other grain, sprouted oat, sprouted any buckwheat, any grain. We have wheat in our country, so I use wheat. So this is sprouted wheat, soaked sunflower seeds, dry figs and raisins, and parsley. I highly recommend this food if you have a hard day and you have no time to cook, and you just want to take something quickly from your fridge and take it to work. You sprout the wheat. To sprout the wheat, it doesn't take it might take 2-3 days for the wheat to sprout, but you're not on top of it watching it, wasting your time. You just let it sprout and do your things, and then just every day check it, add water to the cloth if it's dry, and wait until they sprout. So this I don't have time to sprout. I mean, you are not going to sprout. The food will sprout itself. You will just put it in water for 6 hours. You are not waiting there for 6 hours for the seed to wake up. You go do your jobs and then just empty the water, put a wet cloth and wait until it sprouts, not on top of it. Just do your jobs again, and then when it sprouts, use it. So if you have the sprouted wheat, you need 3 minutes to make this food and take it home to work with you. This is a very popular breakfast. Now, when the sprouts grow too much, they become microgreens, Not all seeds can become microgreens. I wouldn't suggest grains and pulses to make them a microgreens, but like this is alfalfa sprouts. Alfalfa, and you can either have them as sprouts or let them grow into little grass. This is microgreens, and these are again a very alive and nutritious food to add to your salads. This is plant-based milk, and this is warm plant-based milk, just to inspire you. This is another activated food, freshly cooked with cauliflower. This is a winter food, rice with seeds, with mustard seeds, and some vegetables and green peas. Soaking the food, soaking our seeds in order to wake them up. That's more food. Okay. What is the time? So we finished? We are done, Nyander?
I think we finished 12:30, Anandi, so you can have a few more minutes and then question.
Half two. It's
and answer will be good. 12:30.
12:30.
So we have 15 minutes.
15 minutes more. All right, great.
12:30.
12:30, yeah.
12:30. Okay, yeah, all right. Thank you. So, live food, what to avoid? We said frozen, pre-cooked, processed meat and animal products. The meat, it's always dead. You understand why, don't you? I mean, it's dead, no prana. Not only has no prana, but also it takes a lot of prana to be digested. So that's why yogis avoid meat. Because if you eat meat, there is definitely no energy, no prana for any other spiritual practice. Definitely. Because the meat is one of the heaviest foods to eat and to digest. So that's why we avoid meat and generally animal products. But remember again, don't be too hard on yourself. I remind you once more, when you eat activated food, it works. And when you don't eat, it doesn't work. So it's your choice. It's fine whatever you do. This is dead vegan food that I had in one takeaway, and I just took a photo of it because you can you feel the difference between this food and, for example, this food? They both look fast food, okay? These are homemade pita with beans and vegetables, and this is homemade vegan, I don't know, meatballs, vegan meat. Can you understand the difference? This one and this one. Hopefully, I did an experiment in our seminars when we used to do them with people and not online. I made a vegan burger and I cooked it, I put it in the toaster, cooked it, and then put it in the freezer. And then I cooked a freshly roasted, I put a fresh raw burger in the toaster before the class, before the seminar, the activated seminar. And then I removed the burger from the freezer and warm it up. So I had a frozen, warmed warmed again burger and a freshly cooked burger. And I gave it to everyone. We had 15 people. I gave it to everyone to tell me which one is alive. Unfortunately, no one found it. I think 2-3 people found it just by chance. No one understood the difference between the frozen, pre-cooked and the freshly cooked burger. That means that we got used to eating dead food so much that it's not possible to understand the difference. I can understand it, and some of my students who follow the system very with discipline, they can understand the difference. I would say when this happens, I always say, see how you feel after. Don't count on taste, because taste, well, you might like the frozen one, you might like it. Just see how you feel after. If after you eat a frozen food, if after you eat a food you feel like tired, that means it takes energy instead of giving you. The food is supposed to give us energy, to give us calories, nutrients, and prana. It's supposed to give us these three things. If it doesn't give us nutrients, no, calories always gives us, always. So, but if it doesn't give us nutrients and prana, then it's what we call empty calories. Empty. You just take calories without anything else. No energy, no nutrients. So we have to a little bit experiment with this. Just today's an introductory lesson. Again, I remind you that if you want to go deeper to that, you can have our online seminar, and this will train you fully to eat activated food and to learn to recognize the activated food. Here is, I just have this photo because really some people, they don't know anything else than frozen peas. Peas are this, they have this, this is how peas look like, not in a plastic bag frozen like we got used to them. And I insist on peas because really, yes, they might keep their nutrients, but they don't keep their prana if you froze them. So especially when you unfroze them through cooking, then it doesn't, they create gas and they don't have prana. So experiments with fresh peas, and I know that in UK you have peas, green peas, most of the seasons. Unfortunately, in Cyprus we only have springtime. That's it. Then we don't have peas anymore. We use dry peas. Dry are okay. You put them in water, they wake up, and then you cook them. So dry peas or fresh peas would be a better option than frozen peas. Okay, we'll move into easily digested, the second quality, and I think we will stop here. I think it's enough information for some of you. So I don't feel like we need to continue after this. It's enough information, and you can always join our Facebook group or join our YouTube channel, or they have our seminar, our online seminar, to learn more. We do many sessions. We did some sessions also at the yoga therapy group, and we will continue with the yoga therapy course, I suppose. So you always have chances to learn about activated food. Spice mix. So if you, whatever food you eat, add, even if it's not activated, remember to add spice mix, because the spice mix, the spices add digestive enzymes to the food and make the food more easier to digest. So especially if you eat complicated food, very heavy food, or you eat meat, animal products, it's good to add a spice mix of your choice. I have a suggestion here, so I will not leave it completely like that. This is a classical spice mix that we choose. Just a warning, because in India they use too much chili, too much. In my country, we use no spice, no hot taste, no spice, no chili or pepper at all. So there are the two extremes. We go somewhere between. Not too much chili to eat and feel only the chili when you eat, but we have to in our the chili taste or the pepper, the pungent is pungent, isn't it? Pungent taste, pungent taste. The pungent taste is it's very useful for digestion and to burn toxins in the system. So we need the pungent taste, the hot chili taste, but not in extremes, because then it has the opposite effect. Okay, so here we have turmeric, coriander seeds, chili. You can use as much chili as the other ones, but because I did these seminars in Cyprus and there is no way in Cyprus to accept so spicy food, I reduced in half. I reduced the quantity in half, but you can use as much as the rest if you can handle it. So turmeric, coriander, chili, mustard seeds, cumin seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there are five. This is a classical digestive formula. We call it digestive formula that you can add to your food. You can stir fry it even without oil. Just but oil, a little bit of oil will be great, just to cover it, to protect it, to create a protective layer with the oil. So a little bit of oil, and then stir fry the formula, this formula, before, and then add your vegetables, your food, or just add it on top of your food to help digestion. Again, in the YouTube channel, you can see how we make this formula. If you want, you can check it out. Here, I didn't want to put formula in this food. This is whole wheat pasta. I made it, this pasta, to make sure it's activated, but you can just have whole wheat pasta. Green peas, nutritional yeast, and I added roasted rosemary, freshly roasted rosemary. And that was my formula. You see the quantity I used, because I used only one herb and not a spice mix. I used a lot. And rosemary is excellent because it has the bitter taste we said before, and it helps very much. You will feel it. Then you can concentrate on your spiritual self better with the rosemary. The same with sage. Even if you burn sage, it's good, but even eating sage, again, it lifts the spirit up. Okay? So, spice mix, and 2 more things for easily digested food. You have any questions? Is it clear? Yes, okay. Everyone? All right. Oh my God, this came again. It's left. Time between meals. So in yoga generally, and in Ayurveda, unlike the modern way of eating, we say that we need 4 to 5 hours space between meals and no snacking. And the reason for that is because we want to have a stomach ready to digest the food. But if we snack here and there, this every 3 hour eating, it doesn't work for most of people unless you have a health problem, and this is suggested by your doctor, like if you have diabetes, for example, or if you have a problem in the stomach that this is like, as it's in English, when the stomach is
Acidity, do you mean, or
huh?
acidity?
Acidity
Acid?
in the stomach, yes, or if the stomach
Or
is
ulcers?
Ulcers, yes.
Ulcers.
Yes, ulcers, yes. Or if you have a specific health problem, you need to eat every 3 hours. Yes, that's absolutely understandable. But if there is no health problem, the right time to between meals is 4 to 5 hours. So the stomach will be easy, ready to digest. And generally eat when you're hungry, not when it's time to eat. Eat when you're hungry, because only when you eat when hungry, the stomach will digest the food. Otherwise, will not digest it properly. And about quantity and quality, you have to find the right quantity of that you are happy with, And don't worry about what others will say. You might eat less, you might need more or less food than usually, than the rest of the people. Find your own quantity. And I would say find the quantity of the food that will keep you without being hungry for 4 hours at least. Find this quantity. For example, I realized that in order to stay without full food for 5 hours, because for me it's 5 hours, and I also fast from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock in the morning. I do this kind of intermittent fasting, how you call it. Anyway, this kind of fasting that you stay without food for 12, 14 hours. So but I found out that in order to stay without being hungry for 4 hours, I need protein in my food. I need a kind of, to do the right combination so the food will take all the amino acids to make protein. Otherwise, I'm hungry after 4 hours. After 3, 4 hours, I'm hungry. And it doesn't work for me. I want to eat every 5 hours. So I make sure that my food has all the amino acids to build protein, keep my body busy building protein, so I will not ask for more food. So you find your own way to check the quantity and the quality of the food in order to work for you. Again, I cannot say more because it's a whole, I mean, it's a week's seminar. I cannot move further, but I remind you, on our Facebook group and on our online seminar, there are enough information to continue this practice if you liked it. This is it. Here is sprouted lentils in salad. Excellent. Again, another alive food full of prana that you can have if you have no time to cook and you just want to throw some vegetables in a salad. Carrot, lettuce, sprouted lentils, and parsley. And olive oil. We have olive oil in Cyprus. And it's an excellent, complete food that will surprise you how much satisfying it is, because it has all the amino acids. It has all the amino acids to build protein, and that makes it satisfying. You are not hungry after. So that's it. If you have any questions, I will switch on the to listen to your questions if you have, and we can conclude.
I think there is a question in the chat, Anandi, from Diana about the tuning of the food. I think the one point maybe if you can put a light on it.
Okay, yeah, I will say just two things. Tuned food, we mean food that is in season and from the country we live. The country we live, local food, local and in season food, just generally. And this you can find for your country, what food is in season. There are lists everywhere on internet to check what food is in season. I wish we had more time to explain why, but just remember the word tuned. We need to be tuned with our environment. Okay? And being tuned with our environment means very, very good immune system, because the immune system needs to be tuned with what is happening around. If you give tomatoes, for example, in the winter, the system doesn't know what to do with the tomatoes, because the tomatoes are built to cool down the system. So if in the winter you cool down, it doesn't work for the immune system, and the immune system gets confused. Just this. And local food. Have the food that uses the same air you breathe and the same earth you walk on. That's it. Page. Okay, name of Facebook page. I will write it down, the name of the Facebook page.
If you can take the screen share off, Anandi, then we can all see each other, please.
Oh, yes, great. Stop share. Okay.
That's better.
Activated vegan food seminars. So this is the, it's a private group, but of course, if I see that it's from you, we will accept it. It's a private for those who have the seminar, but I have many friends as well, and family and everyone. It's open to the people we know. Anyone else? Can you explain what you mean by tuned? Yes, yes. Okay, that's it. Any other questions? I can see you now, so you can just switch on your microphone. No. Oh. Susan, yes. So, yeah.
Sorry. Issues getting off mute. Yeah, any issues with just the regular store-bought spices that you referenced? And is there anything you should do with them as well?
Regular store-bought, yes. They call them store-bought spices. If the coriander seeds are grounded is the correct English word, grounded, then they don't work. You need to take them into seeds and have a coffee grinder and ground them yourself, because they lose their essential oils when they are grounded. After a month, they don't have their essential oils, so they don't help the digestion in the way we want. So very good question. That's great. Yes.
Great.
That was really great, Anandi. Honestly, like it's so amazing to hear some of the things from you. Just reminding me my time back with my grandparents and my mom, really. And I'm kind of thinking, I think when I go to India next time, you should really come with me and spend like a week with my mom, and actually to see, you know, what people still do. And I'm kind of starting to worry now, when that generation is gone, we all will be sort of depending on supermarkets for the spices and all this, like actually grinding the turmeric, grinding the chili and
Thank you so much for that session.
I would love to come to India with you and Yanda. Go, because the Indians know how to make activated food. They do. They only use too much chili. That's the only problem. The rest is perfect.
Yeah, it's in the culture, isn't it?
Because even like it's just reminding of some of the things. Like I remember, I don't know if like how many of you experienced it, but like I remember back in India when I was young, like, you know, Sid and Krishna's age, how much excitement we used to have actually waiting for the banana season, waiting for the apple season, waiting for the mango season, because there's a fruit in the market for like 3-4 months and then it disappears. And for the next 8-9 months, you have to wait. You know, it doesn't matter how much you like, I would love to eat a grape, but you have to wait all the time. And now we just got everything.
Yes, and it's not absorbed properly as well, because if the body doesn't take it during the season it grows, the food grows, then it's not, I mean, it just passes through the digestive system and goes. That's why there is misnutrition, malnutrition now, because we don't eat in season and we don't eat local. So the body doesn't recognize the food we eat. Yes. But it's great. Yes, I remember that as well. Like, oh, we have apples, we have watermelon, and it's so great.
Yeah. Lisa,
yes.
Yeah, I just still can't see the Facebook page. It hasn't come up on my chat. I don't know if have you typed it? Can everybody else see it?
Maybe it's private. Yes, you're right. Just a minute. Yeah, I put it. I sent it direct message to Nyandev only, who knows he's part of the group already. So yes, you're right. Thank you very much for this. Here. This is the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Join us. You are welcome to join us, and then you can see that I say what Nyandev said before. Like I say, oh, watermelon is here. It's great. I couldn't wait. I can't wait to have, because we use this local and in-season food all the time. Yes. Dara?
Yes, no, that's lovely. No, I've really found it really interesting.
Great.
No, just to say, I found it really interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's given me lots to think about, and to think about just replanning how I buy foods and cook or not cook foods. Do you see what I mean? And I found this soaking, even being able to soak lentils, for instance, really interesting. I've never done that. even wheat to get them to sprout is great. So thank you. Yeah, fantastic.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you, thank you. All right.
It was such a good timing just before lunch.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Everyone's just changed their lunch plans in the last hour. They're like,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And also,
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah,